Our first speaker up today is Alderwoman Megan Green. She's the Alderwoman of the 15th Ward. Megan, come on up. Woo!
How's everybody doing?
Great.
Okay, that was a little weak. Let's try it again. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. You excited to be here? So I'm Alderwoman Megan Green. I represent the 15th Ward, which is mostly Tower Grove South. I'm the daughter of two educators. One of them is a university professor who has adjunct quite a bit as I was growing up. And seeing the struggle and how more and more professors are not being granted professorships, but instead are adjuncting and are being paid poverty wages is something that we have got to fix. It's something that's been very close to my heart and something that I know that folks here are working on every single day. What I hear is that the college is looking to invest in more buildings before it's investing in its staff. And unfortunately, this is something that we're seeing not just on college campuses, but across St. Louis, where we are continuing to prioritize projects and building and construction over the lives of people. And so I stand here today in solidarity with everybody who's out here, also because I'm a doctoral candidate at St. Louis University. Right. And what I'm hoping, after I finally earn that dissertation, after I finally complete it, that I will be joining the workforce, will become an adjunct professor in addition to being an alderwoman in the city of St. Louis, so that I can pay it forward in that way. So what I really want to do today, though, is not take up all of the time on the mic, but really hand it over to people who are fighting the fight on the grassroots level and the ones who are out there every single day. And so without further ado, I would like to bring up, remind me your name. Steve, who is going to share a little bit about his story and the organizing that's happening here. So thank you for coming out today. Woo.
Hello. Thank you for showing up today.
All right, Steve.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for showing up today. I finally figured it out. I'd like to thank my fellow faculty for showing up, some students. It's hard to be here when you're always teaching classes. And that's the reality for a lot of us adjuncts. We teach at multiple places. I teach at 3. I travel about 105 miles a day teaching. And what we are seeing, many of us instructors, is that there's truly a crisis in the classroom. And that crisis is the classroom is loaded with more and more students who will be earning debt along with their degrees. They're going to be graduating with higher and higher levels of student loan debt, and they're being instructed by teachers who can who can barely afford to be there. So there's truly a crisis in the classroom, and that's what the instructors and the students. The buildings are being built, the administrators are being hired, the administrators are being given raises. There seems to be high-paid administrative bloat going on. We could talk all day about finances, but the other reality is that a vast majority of our instructors now are adjunct faculty. No longer is it a reality that you get your doctorate and you go on adjunct for a while and you're likely to be hired. No, there's a new model. There's an adjunctification of our colleges and universities, where they're not wanting to pay people. They're wishing to save money by hiring adjunct instructors who receive no health insurance. Many students don't know that their instructors don't have health insurance. Many students do not know that their instructors do not have real offices. Many students do not know that their instructors sometimes have to apply for public assistance, and believe me, I've heard that story more than once. So what we're asking is that, we voted over a year ago to unionize, and we've been trying to negotiate in good faith. So if you hit this wall where they're not wanting to give us any meaningful raise in salary, they're not wanting to give us any job security. You can teach at a college for years, and then the day before classes start, your classes can be taken away from you with no compensation whatsoever. We show a great deal of loyalty to this institution. We are here because we believe in the mission. Most of us could make much more money doing almost anything else We are the lowest paid. I guess someone has to be the lowest paid, but we are by far the lowest paid group of individuals who work at this institution. I, with a master's degree, and other people like myself with a master's degree, I teach calculus, college algebra, things like that. We make about a pay rate of $10 an hour, and that's not commensurate with an institution that says that they value higher education.
Ain't right.
Right, it is not right. And actually, I have students who say, hey, I'd like to have your job. I'd like to go and major in math and become an instructor, and you have to talk to them about the realities that professors aren't being hired anymore. They're being rented out. So we're rental professors. And most students don't know that. So we're encouraging all professors to start talking to their students about who they are, who's instructing them. And we're great instructors, but we'd be even better if we had some real support, some wages, some job security. Even better than that, a full-time position with an office. We would be much better for our students. I think that almost 60% of our instructors are adjuncts. I think it's above 60%. Students don't know that. So this is a start. We're going to continue and we're going to grow in our forward-facing communications, start educating the student body about what's happening, and ask them where all their student loan money is going. Where is it going? It's going to high-paid administrators and buildings, and people padding their resumes so they can move on to the next institution to raise. So let's stick together, let's fight, let's keep this thing going, and I'm glad to see the support here. Thanks. Bye.
So about over a year ago, the adjunct faculty voted with an overwhelming majority to unionize. Many did because there's about 70% of the current faculty at the St. Louis Community College are adjunct. So that's, not exactly 70, but close to 70%. Many of us work multiple jobs. I teach at 3 schools, Harris Stowe, St. Louis Community College, and Jefferson College. I drive 105 miles a day, teach the equivalent of 8 classes a semester, and with a master's degree, if you look at the earnings rate, it's about $10 an hour, and that's typical for the adjunct. And that really isn't commensurate with what you would expect with a institution which says they value higher education. So we've been meeting for about a year, once, twice, maybe 3 times a month, it varies. We've come to agreement on some things, but very little at this point. They still do not want to increase pay, any meaningful amount, don't want to give us any security when it comes to assignments. You can be an adjunct and work and teach the same class for years, and then all of a sudden just be taken away from you the day before classes start with no compensation. So we feel that that is very hard. Also, one of the things we want to talk about is the crisis in the classroom. There's a lot of challenges with education, but the main crisis you can see in the classroom when you have students taking on greater and greater amounts of student loan debt, being instructed by mostly teachers who can't afford to teach. But buildings seem to get built, administrators seem to get raises, more administrators hired. So we wanted to talk about priorities and focus. Also, this new adjunct model where you have a vast majority of your instructors adjunct, it really is hard. Even though we're very good instructors, it's hard to be as good as we could be without offices, having to commute over 100 miles a day. So we feel that it's somewhat of a ripoff for students with this new adjunctification of the faculty. So that's what we're here to talk about. We're talking about standing up for living wages, standing up for student experience and support of students, and giving their instructors the professional support that they deserve and need to serve the student body.
Roughly 3 years ago, we started organizing part-time faculty to see if there was enough people to vote in to be represented by a union. And there was. We won our union vote about 3-1. So it was over 300 people voted to join the union. For the last 2 years, we've been bargaining with the college for a fair contract to represent the hard work we do as adjunct faculty members. The college is refusing to bargain with us for a fair contract. They are dragging their feet, as one person would say, but they meet with us on usually a monthly basis, but over the last year they canceled more meetings than they came to. Our last meeting with them, which was 2 weeks ago, they basically said they are almost at a point where they can't go any farther with what they're offering us. So that's why we're doing these rallies and these actions, to let them know that we're not going to go away quietly. We're asking for better pay, job security, and other benefits that full-time faculty enjoy. So we're into our second year of negotiating with St. Louis Community College.
Okay.
Other colleges organized and voted in their union around the same time we started. Then they're the colleges that WashU, St. Louis University, St. Charles Community College, and they're all represented by the same union as we are, and they all have contracts. We don't. We're the only ones that are still bargaining, and we started the process before they did. So it's been 2 years, and the college is not moving.
Okay, guys, so last week the adjuncts tried to deliver a letter to the chancellor of the system, and he refused to meet with the adjuncts, unfortunately. So we're going to try a different route today. We're going to ask all of you lovely people to accompany the adjuncts up to the provost's office, and we're going to deliver a letter and ask the provost here to call the chancellor and support a living wage for adjuncts. So we're going to go into the stairwell. We're going to go into the stairwell, up a... Stand up, fight back.
Not offering us a whole lot, and we would like more from that. And we'd like you to know what's going on.
We'd like your support.
We'd like your support, and we'd like the university, the college to bargain in good faith with us. So we feel like that's not been happening.
Okay.
We feel like, things that they were offering, they're now, that they were going to give to us, and now they're acting like that's something that we have to fight for. That they might be able to get that. So, so we just want to see them come to the table, willing to give us something to make it worth it for us to keep teaching.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the information. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for meeting with us.
All righty. Take care. All right.